Hello and welcome to another episode of the eCom Ops podcast. My name is Norbert, and today I'm talking to GQ from LTV Plus. Is it right? Yeah, LTV Plus is the right name for that.
That is
Great
correct.
tool, and it's all about live chats and customer support agents and CX consulting and retention. So everything you need to make a perfect experience on your e-commerce store. Welcome.
Thanks a lot for having me on the show, Norbert. It's great. I'm glad we finally caught up. I know there's been
Yeah.
a bit of pushing and pulling in terms of scheduling the dates, but you're a busy person as well, and I know your podcast has a lot of has a lot of guests. So glad I can speak on the show.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy to have you because it's so important that we talk about the experience that users might have on a web store and how to really make the user bound to that store and bound to the products and to the brands, and customer experience in that case is so important. But first, tell me, how do you first get in the e-commerce world? How do you
Sure.
land there?
Yeah. Well, how do we end up here? Well, so when we first started our business, and this is end 2017, early start 2018, we came in with the concept of offering live chat outsourcing. We figured that chat is a really good way to convert more people on sites. And back then we were offering this for SaaS and e-commerce businesses. But it just so happened that as our clientele developed over time, we realized that a lot of the clients that we were working with are coming from the e-commerce space, and a lot of them are actually Shopify and Shopify Plus stores. Gradually, that developed into providing the full omni-channel customer service setup. So we cover chat, email, phones, social media, SMS, and that just became a part of our, let's just say, our core services at LTV Plus. And we realized, we were seeing a lot of traction in e-commerce. We were realizing that we got a lot of good feedback and best practices by working with different e-commerce stores, and so we took that and shared that with like the best practices with other clients, and therefore gradually, ideally establishing ourselves as a player here in e-commerce. That that's kind of like our main focus as an outsourcing business.
And do you only work for e-commerce or also for tools or SaaS applications, or is it the main focus?
So the main focus is e-commerce, that's true, but we do have SaaS businesses that we support as well. We don't, put that up on our site because we think it kind of distracts people from the core messaging, but we do have clients that come through that are SaaS businesses as well.
And how do you proceed? So a new customer appears. How do you get that customer onboarded?
Sure. So usually we first get on a call. We get a consultation call to understand what their needs are, because two things that can happen there. One, first of all, we get the requirements that our clients or prospective clients have. The second thing is to probably unearth other opportunities that our clients or future clients could already work on. Or these are other opportunities that we could be working on together as a result, right? So for example, maybe a store comes to us and says that they just thought about having email support, but we realize they don't have live chat on there, and then we probably would discuss why that's the case and figure out if there's a good use case there. How can we increase conversion rates with live chat? And then we kind of have that conversation on board. And then, after that, it's really just, okay, once we have the consultation and, we work things out and everyone's happy, we get started. We have an onboarding period of about 3 months or less. And then, during that 3 months already, our agents technically would be live, but they have a bit of handholding with our clients, or just to make sure that they're learning that. But by the end of 3 months maximum, the agents are ready to go. And that's pretty much it, really. Yeah. We like to keep it as simple and as concise as possible.
Yeah, understandable. And how many languages do you support?
Let's see here. I have to count.
Wow.
The core language is English.
Yeah, sure.
Some of the other languages that we support are popular ones are like German, French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, and recently more so Mandarin. But we do have requests for other languages as well. Sometimes, like Swedish or Norwegian. It really just depends on the requirements. And I think one thing to remember for us here is that we are a completely remote company. So getting the right people with the right language skills is definitely not a problem.
Yeah, that's good. And how do you charge your customers? Is this per ticket, or is it an hourly rate, or how do you manage that?
Sure. So usually when we work with clients, we offer a per agent per set number of hours every month. So it's a very, we want to keep it as lean as possible. So we
Hmm.
don't do like we know that there are the businesses that are doing really well offering on a per ticket basis, on a per hour basis, but we're very focused on just the agents because what we do here is that we offer only dedicated agents. So today, let's say, if we have like a team of agents working for you, they're only going to be working for you when they're online because we find that gives undivided attention. It gives the agents a chance to learn more about your brand, and speak like the way that you want your agents to speak
Hmm.
for your brand.
And how can I think about that as a web store owner? At what point would you recommend to implement, let's say, a live chat or such a customer service that you provide?
Sure. So if you're just starting out, I can understand why people would want to just offer email support from the beginning, because at least that way you do have time to kind of field those questions, get back to people, and there isn't that real time pressure to get back to people in live chat.
Hmm.
But I'd say, once you are seeing somewhere between 5 to 6 thousand conversations across different channels, and you're ready to scale up your operations or your customer service to provide coverage 24/7, for example, or maybe
Hmm.
16/7. That's kind of when, it's a good time to hit us up on at LTV Plus to figure out if that's to figure out what's the best fit there and how we can extend your team. Because we usually see a good mix of things here. We see, for example, um, clients who have their own customer service team and they want to maybe move their team members to more strategic roles. And
Hmm.
that's kind of where they come and work with us so that we're able to take care of the legwork, but also bringing together the expertise that we have and other best practices that we've seen.
Hmm. Okay. And from your extensive experience working with those e-commerce businesses, what sets the winners apart from the rest?
So this is going to be a little bit more biased, but I'd say I think like the number one thing, because again we're a customer service outsourcing company, but jokes aside, I think one of the really key things that an e-commerce brand should always consider is how the overall customer experience is uh, delivered, right?
Yep.
So of course this goes past customer service, but speaking from our standpoint, it's really, how soon do you get back to people? Because like, if I were to engage with someone on chat or email, I kind of want to get a reply as soon as possible. Otherwise I might have like the longer people wait, the experience kind of gets worse over time. Because like, hey, I emailed this store for like 2 days ago, they still have not gotten back to me about where my order is. Something as basic as that. You want to take your customer service really seriously, because we say that contact centers or your customer service is a profit channel, right?
Hmm.
You treat your customers right, you get back to people well on time, and also not just giving them an automated response, but rather understanding them, speaking with them, connecting with them. That's a really good way to build that reputation that you have as a brand. That's a really good way to set that expectations that customers know that you are very proactive about customer service, and therefore when they purchase, they know what to expect. They're very happy to purchase from you, and on top of that, they would also recommend your brand to their friends, family, colleagues, or whichever. I can even give like a really good example here. I had a friend who was shopping at I will not name any brands, but like he was shopping at a brand for certain things. Like he was shopping for stuff for a while, and then he got an email that said like, "Hey, here's a discount code to use it," and he was like, "Cool, it's on discount, so I'm willing to go purchase it." So he keys in a discount, and then what happens is the discount code doesn't work. And so it's
Ah,
like, that they're kind of just like, I had this promise, but now it's not delivered. So
yeah.
what could have happened here? And here's the thing. He waited and also still emailed customer support, but never got a reply for 2 to 3 days. And so like what could have been done there, for example, is either get customer service to reply as soon as possible, which would improve the overall experience, or maybe even sending a text message to just quickly rectify that the issue there. Because if one person experienced it, there could be hundreds of other people who are trying this discount code and it's not working, and therefore you had just lost like a good opportunity for sales.
Yeah, got it. Got it. Absolutely. Um, and what do you think? What should operationally, what should the biggest focus for an e-commerce business leader be?
Operational, could you expand on that?
Yeah. What should a business leader in e-commerce take care of, especially when it comes to operations? Is it to get a good customer support, or is it something like getting the automation done, putting the effort on bringing the products into different marketplaces? What do you think is most important for those e-commerce stores to grow?
Wow, that is a very, very deep question. Well, I like that. This is the first time I ever been asked that. Wow.
Yeah.
Let me think here. So if we were talking about um, operations wise, I'd say, the first thing that you want to do is to be able to scale within the market really. No, okay, first of all, like understanding how you're going to scale uh, in the market that you're getting the most traction from, right? So ensuring that your logistics are in place, your supply chain is working well. And on top of that, it's really interesting that you brought up automation as well. Like, how much of the experience can you automate so that ideally reduces the number of friction and also the possible chances of error. So here's a good example. Like when we talk about customer service, and I come back to that again. If you're not considering how you can optimize it, take for example basic questions like where's my order, or like simple like what's your refund policy like. If you could have that on a chat bubble and people could just click that and just say, okay, where's my order? Number one, customers would easily be able to get the answers that they want very quickly without having to talk to you. There is I can't remember the stats about this right now, but I know that there is some satisfaction when customers are able to get the answers that they want on their own terms, which is good. The other aspect of that as well is, you would have just saved your customer service team some time, right? Because they don't have to answer all these types of inquiries unless it's something more complex or something that requires more analysis to get back to, right? To understand how you like to kind of create those responses. So I'd say, yeah, like a good folk. Like first of all, like understand how you're gonna deliver well in one market that you're getting the most traction from, and number two, um, automating what you can, making sure that you reduce the chances for errors, but at the same time also understanding that that could help lift a serious amount of work for you, and that would ideally help keep your operational margins more affordable as a result. Yeah.
Great answer. I love that. Yeah, and automating, I think, is really a very important key to success, because it saves you so much time for doing more important things. I know automation is something that is very time consuming at a specific point, and you need a lot of time to really make something perfect. But as
Yep.
soon as you set it up one time, you never need to take care about that specific thing anymore. And this is a so much time saver for customers. And I think is as important as being very good in the support, because also here automation, in my opinion, happens. When you say the part of order, where's my order? This is something I'd say for a bot. So
Yeah.
initially for a bot, and after that, if there is any specific question about the order, like why is it late or something
Yeah.
like this, then a person comes in. But you did not need to chat with the person before, and you saved a lot of time taking care for another client, which is
That's correct.
absolutely reducing waiting time. Um,
Yep.
what is the waiting time that a customer is willing to wait before the chat appears?
Uh, well, I think this differs from like verticals to verticals. Like if you're like offering fashion, or if yours is a fashion store, or if you're selling maybe fitness supplements, for example, I think that kind of differs across the board. But one thing that never changes is as soon as possible,
Yeah.
right? So that never changes, especially with live chat. People want it almost instantly. But so one of the things that we do is that we do our best to ensure that every chat is answered within 30 seconds, I'd say
Mhm.
15 to 30 seconds maximum. But this, no, so it can be super instant if the volume's not high. But once the volume gets really, crazy, and that's kind of where there's going to be a bit of delay. And I think people do have that partial expectation that they know that they have to sort of wait. I mean, we have, like you and I, like, when we go shopping or when we ask for support live chat, we could be anywhere. Like they even give you like a queue number. You're like 9 minutes to your queue. I remember there was once I wanted to hit up Zoom support, and because
Nah.
when the pandemic hit, yeah,
You
do you
had
know
luck.
about?
Did you had luck?
Yeah, no, well, I didn't have any luck. Like I
Yeah,
only got
I
back, I
know.
only got a reply like a few days or a few weeks later. It was super funny, but understandably, because they had to scale so quickly, right? Like,
Yeah.
with the pandemic and everything. But like, yeah, so when you see things like 9 minutes or 10 minutes, it kind of turns off, it kind of turns you off as a result. And like, you don't really want to have that conversation.
Yes.
But there is one that you can probably consider differently, and that is, with text messaging. That's kind of where the with email you have a bit of leeway, but people still kind of expect something within the first few hours or something like that, depending on how urgent the request is. But with text messaging, there's a bit more leeway because, for example, if I were to text a company, and then like if I don't check my phone for a while, there might be that I'd still be cool with sort of waiting it out a little bit longer because there's no pressure like of it being like live chat. However, it's still fairly conversational enough where you put concise information into a small bunch of characters versus like an extensive email, right? And
Yeah.
truth be told, SMS, I think it's obviously increasing in popularity. And the other thing here is that with emails, there's just a lot of noise in your inbox. Sometimes people just don't check. So yeah.
Do people still use SMS, or is it switching to WhatsApp or Telegram or Signal?
Oh, I think right now we're seeing a lot on SMS, at least with the US market right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of coming together pretty nicely. And in fact, what's really cool is that I just found out the statistic from my partnership manager the other day. He was saying that most SMSs are opened within like 90% or 95, no, sorry, 90 or 96% of SMSs are opened. Like, that's a
Yeah.
very, really, really high open rate. That's
Yeah.
crazy, right?
That's
So
crazy.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I guess like with WhatsApp or Telegram, that could be an option as well. And that is definitely gaining traction. But I think SMS is probably still the fairly safe one because, WhatsApp, Telegram, these are very platform specific, but that every phone has an SMS, like you
Mm-hmm.
can receive SMSs. So yeah.
Yes, it's interesting. Here in Austria, I see seldom the people writing SMS or communicating the support way. Of course, automated SMS like your delivery is on the way. This is a tracking number. This is okay, absolutely typical. Or when you need to go to the car company to fix your car or to have the service done, you get an SMS. So advertisement or transactional SMS, but seldom that I hear customer support on SMS. More
Yeah.
on WhatsApp here. So
Yeah. But that's the interesting thing here. So
yeah,
that's why, like, one really good example is we can talk about a cart abandonment recovery, right? So
yeah,
one of the things that can happen here is like if someone were to shop for a bit, but they never really like didn't buy anything, they left. Then you could have an automated message that goes out and says like, hey, it's GQ here. I saw that you had these items in our cart. Let me know if you're interested in purchasing them, and I'll see if I can get you a discount. Something as simple as that, right? And then what
yeah.
happens is, yeah, and then someone says, yeah, sure, I'd be interested in that. And then your customer service agent can then reply and say, hey, I managed to get you a 10% discount code. And I've already applied it to your cart. Did you want to add any other items or whatever? And so over the chat, you
Perfect.
can then have
Perfect.
that.
I
Yeah,
love that. It's perfect. It's exactly how you're talking. This is what I would expect from a sales agent on an e-commerce store. It's perfect. Really.
yeah.
Love it.
But the thing is, like, look, you're just meeting your customers where they are, right? If they're
Yeah.
happy to reply over SMS and they can just tell you a bunch of stuff and you can take care of it for them, all they have to do is click the link and make the payment. Boom, it's easy. It's
Mm.
just like so much easier for customers today to shop. And again, the point is we want to cut through noise. There's just so many channels where your customers willing to engage and not feel harassed or
Yeah.
not feel pressured. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. We came back to automations a bit because of that now. What do you think? What role do you see automation playing in e-commerce in the next few years?
Automation. Well, I think it's gonna be, there's just gonna be so much on the market that will allow you to streamline your operations to the point that maybe the most basics of stuff can be done easily and fairly quickly, so that you're not having to rely too much on. No, so okay, so how, I guess a really good way to put this is just understanding, like, how, where manpower and automation comes in, right? So I had a really long conversation with a friend the other day about this, and we were saying we'll probably see the transition where it's like there's going to be, tech is evolving at a very fast pace, and so we're going to see more like probably um, managers of these technologies to do whatever it is that they need to do, versus kind of like having manual, not saying manual labor, but like people having to carry out certain processes manually, right? Of course, this will take some time, automating certain aspects of like, like even for like chat, for example, like we talked about chatbots, like you just order and stuff like that. But once you get super smart, once you have a lot of, what do you call it? A lot of information to develop your chatbot or further, right? And people are getting used to chatbots as long as they can get the answers and the experience is right. But maybe in the future, what you'll have is people managing the chatbots and a very strong core team of like L2 or L3 types of customer service agents, so that instead of just the level 1 support that's being done, a lot of more of it will be automated because the bots will be smart enough to have that conversation or automating like a much wider range of inquiries. So I think gradually you'll see like, teams kind of lean down because of technology as a result.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Do you have any quick wins for e-commerce businesses?
Quick wins?
Yeah, quick wins.
Quick wins.
Quick wins.
Sorry, like quick wins, like how?
Quick wins like, what should I do next if I don't have it yet? Do this, and it will help you a bit to grow, to make something better, to sleep better.
Okay, so I'd say that I can offer like the top 3 here that I can think of. So the first one is, if you don't have chat already on your site, and you've never tested it, now would be the best time. And don't just have chat on your site, like incrementally. Okay, you can have chat on your site to have people engaged, see how that works out so that your team can manage that. Outside of that, you want to think about how you can map out and understand how customers are browsing your site. So for example, if you see like a customer browsing between your 2 or 3 categories of your products, right? Maybe that's a good time to hit them up and say, hey, I saw you checking out this collection. Did you need help picking out a product, right? And so that way you kind of like anticipate and jump in when the customer actually needs your help. And engage those conversations, because live chat does increase more convergence for the most part. So it's something for you to A/B test and see how that works out. The second tip I can offer is that like we talked about text messaging. If you don't have, well, most people have some form of email recovery campaigns in place, right? If someone leaves their cart. What about SMS? Have you done that? And if so, if you've done that, great. But also, are you taking on a more humane approach where it's like, okay, cool. We send out a message as a person, although it's automated, and then we start that two-way conversation with people who left their carts, and then recovering those. That's another avenue for you to recover lost revenue. The third one is, if you are a subscriptions-based e-commerce brand, those both tips 1 and 2 apply to you. And on top of that, for tip number 2, you can also consider that for people who might where their credit cards are declining. And like, okay, cool. Maybe you can start a text conversation with them to let them know that their credit card didn't work out, and you want to make sure that the subscription stays active. And then start a conversation to recover that involuntary churn as a result. So I'd say those are my top 3.
Okay, cool. And the last question for today. Who has taught you the most about e-commerce in your career?
Who has taught me the most about e-commerce in my career? Does it have to be one person?
No. No, it also can be Google.
No. Well, okay, obviously we learn a lot from Google, but I'd say that a lot of what we learn are really from our clients and partners. So, you start out with your basic understanding, but I think unless you get your feet dirty and, you are actually on the front lines kind of figuring things out, you don't really learn what it's like. So I'd say most of what we learned today are coming from our clients and partners, and how we've been able to work with them to help them as best as we can. So thanks a lot, clients and partners, to everyone that we've worked with.
Awesome. This is the best answer that you could give. Learning from the clients, seeing what they do, improve their businesses. And what I have learned today, and thank you so much for your time. It was really a pleasure talking to you. Again, customer support is really, really important. Being in time, so being fast, helping the users have a good conversation, abandoned cart, as you said, cart recovery, very important part. And put a live chat on your e-commerce store. If you don't have it, put a live chat there. It really can turn around specific customer opinions. It can help you make that sale, because people want to have people, and they want to talk and they want to chat. And this is really one of the best things. I can just also say my experience. I sometimes, of course, as everyone, go to Amazon, and if there
Yep.
is something that I cannot resolve there, if there is a conflict with an order or something like that, and you open up the chat, 3-4 minutes maximum, and you have someone to talk to, and they are always nice and responsive. And I think this is the way to go, to really impress the customer, satisfy the customer, and it will turn out in a lot of revenue.
That is true. That is very true. The customer experience is so crucial.
Yeah.
And I think that's also what sets brands apart from each other.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much. And yeah, stay safe. Good
Thanks a
luck
lot,
with your
Norbert.
company. Thanks
It was
soon. Bye
great catching
bye.
up with you. Yeah.